Coming up on News Live at 6, rain, wind, and snow, oh my. How Central New York is dealing with the continued winter weather.
Plus, the Super Bowl just days away now. We take a look at the impacts beyond the game.
And new dining changes around campus. Find out what's new this semester. News Live at 6 starts right now.
News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
We begin tonight with new developments on the American Airlines deadly plane collision in Washington, D.C. last week. Hello and welcome into News Live at 6 on this Tuesday. I'm Ronnie Parillo.
And I'm Ilana Epstein. Officials are now saying all 67 victims have been recovered and 66 of them have been identified. Rescue responders have been working over the past several days to remove wreckage from the Potomac River.
The flight was just seconds away from landing at D.C.'s Reagan National Airport last Wednesday night when it collided with a Black Hawk Army helicopter. Officials are still investigating the cause of the crash.
New details in today in Robert F. Kennedy's confirmation. The Senate Finance Committee voting to advance his nomination to the Senate floor. The 14-13 vote was split by party lines, but brings Kennedy one step closer to becoming the Health and Human Services Secretary. If confirmed, he will oversee vaccine recommendations and public health campaigns. There is no date yet for his final confirmation hearing.
Senator Chuck Schumer is calling on Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to reinstate the Aviation Security Advisory Committee. In a statement, Schumer criticized the removal of the committee, saying, quote, "Calling this committee a misuse of resources is insulting to the lives lost by an act of terror nearly 40 years ago and to the committee's decades of work. The ASAC was formed back in 1989 following the attack on Pan Am Flight 103 that killed 35 SU students, but it was dismantled last month." Well, Ilana, I mean, a chilly day for sure in central New York. I saw on my weather app that there were some temperatures that they had a 4 in front of them. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, usually that's a sign that things are warming up, but I don't think we're there yet.
I thought it was warming up, but today with the snow, and I felt like it was even hail coming down, I was just not enjoying it at all. But unfortunately, our Olivia Rodriguez is outside right now. Olivia, I hope you're warm out there. How's it looking?
Hey there, Ronnie and Ilana. Now, if you're smart, you're not going to be like me, who did not pack the correct winter clothes to be out in this 26-degree weather right now. I'm wearing our lovely producer Brooke's scarf right now. But like I said, we are looking at 26 degrees outside right now. We're looking at a little bit of precipitation, a little bit of snow right now. And as you can see, the skies are a little bit cloudy, and it's a continued trend throughout the week, as we saw from our winter weather advisory from last week. Now, unfortunately, the weather is not going to get any warmer because tonight we're looking at 23 degrees. Now, because of this wind chill, everything's going to feel about 10 degrees colder than it actually is. We're sitting out here in 14-mile-per-hour winds, so right about now it's feeling about 13 degrees outside. It is very cold. In fact, it actually feels a little bit more like -3 for me out here. But looking into tonight, we are going to see showers and a little bit of precipitation, but I'll have more on that coming up on your weather forecast.
Thanks, Olivia. We're now just a little under a week away from the Super Bowl between the Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles.
That's right. Our reporter Vanessa Shimoni tells us how the Super Bowl's impact reaches far beyond the field.
The biggest entertainment day of the year is coming up this Sunday, and NFL fans everywhere are getting ready for the big game. Professor Dennis Denninger teaches the Super Bowl and Society class here at Folk College, highlighting the underlying aspects of the game. Starting, he talks about the big impact the game has on America's economy.
Projecting that this year's Super Bowl may approach a $50 billion impact. Part of that figure is $6 billion, which is the losses in productivity for people not coming into work the next day. A lot of money spent on television advertising in the Super Bowl, and Super Bowl week is close to $800 million, so there's close to another $1 billion. And the amount of money spent on tickets and transportation to the game, it all piles up.
Denninger then says how the game's media impact has shifted the game's demographic.
The Super Bowl halftime is the most watched entertainment show of the year. Last year, when there was so much interest in Taylor Swift and her being in the stands because of Travis Kelce, well, the number of women increased dramatically. The NFL loves this, and it's a way to introduce a larger audience to their product.
Lastly, he touches on the most important aspect of the football tradition itself.
It brings people together of many walks of life and many generations, and there aren't gender separations, and people gather for a common purpose.
Now, whether you're a Chiefs fan, an Eagles fan, or just a football fan at heart, take some time this Super Bowl season to take a look at the whole perspective and not just the game. For Citrus TV News, I'm Vanessa Shimoni.
Thank you so much. New details tonight for SU Dining. The university has enacted many changes this semester. Our Matt Goodman breaks them down.
Semester is the expanded availability of options for students in dining halls. Students needing halal meals will find protein, starch, and vegetable options daily. Dining centers will also expand the number of special pop-up events they host each semester. Max McKernan, a freshman student, spoke about the new waffle maker.
The Graham Waffle Maker, it's a great addition to the Graham Dining Center, you know, for people who sleep in like me on weekends. You know, you come here noon o'clock, 1 p.m., make your waffle.
Dining halls will also offer a full brunch menu through 3 p.m. Dunkin' at Shine is now serving the Sabrina Carpenter Espresso.
Sabrina Carpenter Specialized Espresso right here in my hand features a double shot of espresso, oat milk, and brown sugar syrup. Let's see what some students had to say about the new drink.
It's actually not that large of like an espresso flavor, but the Sabrina Carpenter drink, I love Sabrina Carpenter.
Okay, honestly, I really like it because a lot of the Dunkin' stuff is too sweet, and this has like the perfect amount of espresso, like the strong taste. So I'd rate it like a 7 out of 10. And my favorite Sabrina Carpenter song is Read Your Mind.
Opening at food.com this semester is Chula, which brings fast casual Indian barbecue to campus. There are plenty of selections for vegans, vegetarians, and those who need gluten-free options. It will be open for lunch and dinner from Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Matt Goodman, Citrus TV News.
Matt, thank you so much. Very interesting that Shine now has the Sabrina Carpenter drink. We'll be talking about her later on in the show, but right now the Homer Central School District is operating virtually after several staff members were out sick. The district superintendent says absences caused a shortage in transportation, forcing schools to close. Practices for all activities are canceled today, but JV and varsity games will still be played. Concerts and plays will also go on as planned. These changes will stay in place if the district stays virtual for the rest of the week.
All right, staying in the classroom, or now maybe out of it, I guess. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, schools across the country have seen a drop in standardized test scores. The Syracuse City School District seeing one of the most dramatic drops in New York State. Our reporter Alexa Corey takes a deeper look into Dr. King Elementary's reading levels that's just half a mile away from campus.
Since COVID-19, grades 3 through 8 across the country have decreased proficiency in standardized test scores. In fact, low-performing students have reached the worst reading scores in over 30 years. This is an interesting time to look at and compare the results because all of the kids who took the NAEP, National Assessment of Educational Process, last year had at least some sort of their education affected by the pandemic. When schools closed down in March of 2020, the kids who are now in 8th grade were in 4th grade, and the kids now in 4th grade were in kindergarten. When looking into local schools, the Syracuse City School District has consistently tested among the lowest in the state. When talking to Artika Hunter, a Dr. King parent, she gave great insight as to how COVID deeply affected reading rates during online school.
You're not reading, you're not getting that proper understanding for one. You're not getting the information that you need for two.
Dr. King Elementary is just a 10-minute walk from Syracuse University. Some people are unaware of when looking at the outside of how much the students might be struggling on the inside. Only 3% of its students are reading at or above proficient levels, the lowest in the Syracuse City School District, and one of the worst in New York State. For comparison, the district average is 17%, while the state's average is 46%. Diane Schulman has been a reading teacher in the Syracuse City School District for 32 years. She explains the reading nights hosted by the school.
Focusing on the skills for ELA and math for the state exams, especially for the older students, that they can come in the evening once or twice a year with their parents and teachers and work on fun educational games.
Reporting in Syracuse, I'm Alexa Corey, Citrus TV News.
Alexa, thank you. Coming up on News Live at 6, the mayor's office has proposed a new surveillance safety program. What new technology could be on the way?
I believe that we all win, and I think once they understand who the Haudenosaunee are, we will definitely be there.
A local lacrosse team is trying to make their way into the 2028 Olympics. How cool is that? Stay with us. That story and more on the other side.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high-five.
One in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. That means it could be you, your favorite brother, your other brother, you, your football buddy, your football buddy, you, your plumber,
Breathe right into your foot.
your plumber's masseuse,
Yes.
you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. With early diagnosis, pre-diabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
You're watching Citrus TV News, live at 6 with Ronnie Parillo, Ilana Epstein, and Olivia Rodriguez. And now, your campus news leader continues.
Welcome back. The city of Syracuse is seeking community input about their proposed drone surveillance program.
That's right, Ronnie. Our reporter Tegan Brostrom is here in studio with us with more information on the developing program. Tegan, good evening.
Thanks, Ronnie and Ilana. Syracuse Mayor Ben Walsh is proposing a drone surveillance program. The drones would be used to give police officers eyes on the scene prior to them arriving. This technology surveillance is a requirement of Mayor Walsh's Executive Order Number 2, which is something he released back in 2020.
So Tegan, can you share how these drones will be specifically used here in the city?
Yeah, so the city's hoping that the drones will reduce response times and providing situation awareness for the officers. The uncrewed aerial system of the drone will act as a first responder to a 911 call, but only certain calls will be utilizing the drones. Calls such as gunshots fired, high priority calls, and others will be used for those drones. And Onondaga County is ranked 8th in the state for violent crime. You know, the city is hoping that these drones will help curb this. Other calls will be burglaries and search and rescue that will take the drones.
So Tegan, the city is still in the beginning steps of establishing this. What uncertainties are there about this possible program?
There are a lot of questions that residents and citizens are asking about this program, and you know, one of those is, will this be effective? Other questions that I think the city needs to take into consideration, this is Syracuse. How weather resistant will these drones be? And the city also mentions high priority calls. What are those specific high priority calls? And I think the main one is, are those drones coming from taxpayer dollars? The city of Syracuse is accepting public comments about this high surveillance drone program until February 13th. To submit a comment, residents can visit the City of Syracuse website. Back to you, Ronnie and Ilana.
All right, Tegan, great work on that, as always. Thank you so much. Well, New York State Attorney General Letitia James is telling hospitals they'll be violating state law if they stop offering gender-affirming care for people under the age of 19 in New York. It comes after President Trump's executive order that's aiming to cut federal support for the care. James told healthcare facilities in a letter yesterday that they'd be violating New York's anti-discrimination laws if they refuse to provide the treatments.
In the letter, James said, quote, electing to refuse services to a class of individuals based on their protected status while offering such services to cisgender individuals is discrimination under New York law. This letter comes as hospitals in Colorado, Virginia, and D.C. said they were pausing gender-affirming treatments for young people during this time.
And coming up on News Live at 6, what the weather's going to look like across the region with this winter weather advisory in effect.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good stir. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah. Hey Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Welcome back to Citrus TV Live at 6. Now looking ahead across the region, we are looking at some pretty uniform weathers in around the mid to high 20s and even in the low 30s. So looking around, we've got weathers in the high areas like Rochester and Elmira in the 32-33 range, but we've also got mid weathers around Syracuse with 25, Cortland 28, Penn Yan 29. So we're definitely seeing the weather warm up across the region, which is good news because of that winter weather advisory from last week. But unfortunately, looking ahead at the rest of the week, it's not looking so good for us because the weather is going to continue to get warmer, but precipitation is going to continue. Tomorrow we're looking at a high of 24 with a major increase on Thursday to a high of 41 degrees. It was super nice the other night when we had 40-degree weather here in Syracuse. When things get up to 40, it feels like summer because of how cold it is. But looking after that, we're going to see a drop down to 28 and then about an even out to the 31-32 range coming up this weekend. But unfortunately, as you can see, it is pretty uniform cloudy skies, which is going to be a little difficult for us, especially as we're seeing precipitation on Thursday and Sunday with a little bit of snow and ice. Precipitation is going to continue throughout the rest of this week with sleet and rain, so make sure to be careful out on the roads. It is not looking the best, but as of right now, this is my photo of the day. I was very excited that it started to clear up a little bit. These cloudy skies are not always my favorite thing to look forward to this winter, but it was really nice to see the snow and this nice little walkway out by this right out on the promenade over here. But that's all I've got for weather right now. We'll have your wake up weather coming up after this.
Olivia, that's a lovely photo. Thank you so much. But with planning already starting for the 2028 Olympics, one local lacrosse team is making a push to compete as their own nation.
That's right, Ilana. Our reporter Roman Verna has the story. Hey, Roman.
Thanks, Ronnie and Ilana. Although the 2028 Olympics seem like ages away, many eyes are already on Los Angeles and specifically lacrosse events. It's because the sport hasn't appeared in the game since 1948. One local team is using this opportunity to tell the world who they are.
That's the goal from Haudenosaunee, number 21.
For the Haudenosaunee, lacrosse is a game of medicine. All of the things that make the game so physically demanding also heal the mind and foster a sense of community that is fundamental to their lives. And more than that, lacrosse isn't just a part of their culture, it is their culture. Rex Lyons is a board member for the Haudenosaunee Nationals lacrosse team. He's also a former player and 3-time world champion.
And it's important to understand that lacrosse is a medicine game first. Before it was the secular game, first and foremost, that was the gift of it. It was for the vitality, the health and wellness of the community, of the nation, of the families, of the clans, all these things. So you're one of three things. You're either a speaker of the language, singer of the songs, or you're a lacrosse player. That's how fundamental it is to who we are.
And that connection to the game is why the Nationals released this, a statement calling on the International Olympic Committee to let the Haudenosaunee compete as an independent nation in the LA 2028 Games, where lacrosse will be played for the first time since 1948.
Because, man, I really envision us, carrying the torch at some point, because why shouldn't we? We have all the life and the vitality and the pageantry. We've got the regalia, the colorful songs and dances. We don't have to choreograph anything. Like, what's it going to look like? We'll tell you what it looks like. This is who we are. It's authentic. It's real.
And that call was echoed by some names you might recognize: former President Biden and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
We've come together and we've managed to navigate all of the injustice and mistakes of the past with an opportunity to change for the better, for everybody, not just the few, not just the privileged, everybody.
But if there's anything Rex wants people to take away, it's that lacrosse is a game that unites.
I saw this, somebody posted these, they're playing it in Iran. I said, there's still hope for the world. I said, they're playing our game in Iran. That's the medicine.
Is Alex Remoll. Alex, what's in store?
Hey, thanks, Roman. When we come back, we'll preview one of Syracuse men's basketball's biggest games of the year and look into a busy couple days for the Knicks. That and more coming up in sports.
Welcome to Live from Studio B.
Welcome to another episode of Culturally and Technically Legal.
Previously on Survivor.
Welcome back to the Esports Juice Box, where we break down this week's esports news into digestible sizes for easy consumption.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
And now, your CitrusTV Sports Report.
The number 2 team in men's college basketball visits the Dome tomorrow. Welcome to sports. I'm Alex Remoll. Syracuse hosts Duke, a matchup between a couple of the most storied programs in the country. The Orange aren't doing so hot this year, but the Blue Devils are rolling. It's a talented Duke squad led by freshman Cooper Flagg. Analyst and former Blue Devil Jay Billis of ESPN has high praise for the young wing.
I think he's the most advanced freshman in every facet of the game that Duke's had. And they've had some unbelievable freshmen here. I'm not saying he's the most talented or, Jason Tatum. There's been Kyrie, there's been Jason Williams. There have been some great freshmen here. But what he's doing on a competitive level, he's the most competitive freshman I've seen.
Well, Flag was certainly competitive. In a huge win for Duke over rival UNC on Saturday, the freshman was on the court for all but 2 minutes and put up strong numbers. In Syracuse's last action, guard Lucas Taylor stepped up with a season-high 19 points against Cal. SU might need another big night from Taylor if it's going to dethrone the second-ranked team in the land. This ACC battle gets going tomorrow at 7. And in the NBA, it's been kind of tough to think of anything other than last weekend's trade that sent Luka Doncic to the Lakers. But the Knicks have a busy start to their week. First up, a home game against the Rockets last night. New York and Houston are top 3 teams in their respective conferences, and for most of the way, it seemed like the group from out west was going to come out on top. But that wasn't how things ended. The Knicks won by 6 after trailing for most of the first half and for the first 8 minutes of the fourth quarter. Guard Jalen Brunson played hero for New York with a 42-point night. Brunson now has 18 40-point games for the Knicks, as many as the great Carmelo Anthony does. A triple-double from Houston guard Amen Thompson went to waste in the loss. But there's no rest for the winners. The Knicks cross the border to play the Raptors tonight. Toronto's top scorer used to play for New York. Guard RJ Barrett puts up over 20 per night, but he's been ruled out due to the concussion protocol. Forward Scotty Barnes is going to have to take on an even larger role than usual for the Raptors. Tip-off is at 7:30. And in Western New York, the Sabres welcome the Blue Jackets for a game that starts in mere minutes. Buffalo has won its last 3 games, but still sits at the bottom of the Atlantic Division. Columbus is currently in a wild card spot.
Alex Remoll, thank you so much.
Happy to be here.
As always.
Well, when we come back, we'll have one last look at your wake-up weather.
We'll be right back.
Welcome to my house. Lately, not my happy place. Everybody's pretty tired of each other. The parents were not themselves. My little brothers were morphing into small creatures. The walls were closing in. Clearly, a case of too much family, too close, 24/7. And there's a lot of that going around right now. If this sounds like your house, try going someplace new. YourLifeYourVoice.org. You'll find lots of ideas to help you handle the family stresses of being confined to close quarters. YourLifeYourVoice.org. It might not get you out of the house, but it could help you find a little more breathing room.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Welcome back to News Live at 6. Now, on your wake-up weather, we're looking at pretty uniform temperatures tomorrow. You're going to wake up around 24 degrees, but this wind is, once again, going to make it feel a little bit cooler than it actually is. We're going to hit a high at 3 p.m. of only 25 degrees. So make sure to jacket up, coats, scarves, hats, just like I was outside. Thank you, our producer, Brooke, to stay warm outside. And then we are going to drop back down to 14 degrees. There is an 80% chance of precipitation. So make sure that you are staying safe out there because the weather is going to continue in this winter fashion, guys.
Well, Olivia, thank you so much for updating us. I'm glad I know because I'll be staying inside now.
Exactly, yeah.
Following her Grammys wins, Sabrina Carpenter is coming out with the deluxe version of her album, Short and Sweet. The new version will have 5 additional tracks as listed on your screen, one of which is a collaboration with country icon Dolly Parton on one of my favorite songs, Please, Please, Please. When this album came out, I was listening nonstop. Ronnie, what's your favorite song on this album?
Well, you mean my favorite on this album? Oh, see, I don't know about the differentiation of the albums.
Or on
I like
Sabrina
Please,
Carpenter's
Please,
song.
It's a good, it's a good song.
I liked her on
It
Girl
is.
Meets World. I didn't see. I don't really listen to her music, but you know, she did a good job.
But I know you've heard it.
I've heard it. I've heard it. It's kind of unavoidable.
Okay. What do you think?
Ooh, I gotta say Sharpest Tool.
Ooh,
I'm a Sharpest
that's
Tool
a
fan.
good
I gotta say, did you see her Grammys performance?
Yes.
Oh, it was insane.
It was-
There was like a Goldie Hawn reference. Is that,
Yes.
That's what I'm saying online.
It was amazing.
No.
Exactly. So we
Yeah.
talk
Well,
about
no,
it.
I need you to listen to more Sabrina Carpenter. Get off
You
Girl
do.
Meets World. Get off the
I
Disney
will.
Channel.
I'll get
Listen
off
to the
Girl
deluxe
Meets World.
version.
You do.
Well, please, please, please tune in next Tuesday. because we need you. Maybe you'll have some espresso tomorrow morning. But that is Citrus TV News live at 6 for this Tuesday.
Don't forget, you can follow us on X and Instagram at CitrusTV News. Now, for the entire Citrus TV News team, I'm Ilana Epstein.
And I'm Ronnie Parillo. Have a great night, Central New York.